We're going to cover all of that and more here on the Field of 68 After Dark. But we have to start in Lawrence, where Kansas, the number 14 team in America, knocked off BYU 90-82. Darren Peterson had a huge first half, dealt with some injury issues in the second half. We'll get to that in a second. But Norm, to me, the headline tonight was Bryson Tiller, 21 points, 7 boards, coming off of 16-7 the last time we saw him. You were there, Norm. You watched it in person. What did you make of this Kansas performance?
Well, I will tell you one thing. That arena was on fire. It was on fire. It's about as loud as I've ever heard it. Um, Bryson Tiller was terrific. He put his name on the map. When he plays with that type of force, attacking the basket, obviously shot the ball really well from 3, but he was a total presence on the floor. And I would tell you, Darren Peterson put on a show. That first 20 minutes, there was no doubt who you would think would be the number 1 player taken in the draft. It would be Darren Peterson.
Goodman?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tale of two halves, and it was a tale of two halves because Darren Peterson was on the court and dominating in the first half, and then he was taken off the court with 16 minutes and change in the second half. And, man, I just scratched my head because I don't really understand what's going on, and we'll talk to Bill Self here in a few minutes about what he thinks is going on with Darren Peterson. But, it's just so frustrating, even, for somebody like me covering the game to watch, because you just want to see this kid play, stay healthy, stay in the game, maybe fight through the injury a little bit and tough it out. And I know Norm's going to push back on me, and I agree. He's a tough kid. My biggest thing, Norm, I don't think it's his decision anymore. I think they're pretty much telling him, whether it's his dad, whether it's the agent, Motts, whatever it is, the first sign of any tightness, whatever, you go to the pen. You go to the pen and you come out. And I get it. Obviously, you got to protect your investment here. But, man, this would not have been the case 5 years ago. It just wouldn't.
Well, I think times have changed. It's not how it used to be. Back in the day, you used to have to prove to the NBA you were tough enough that you could be out there. You had to. That's not the case anymore. And in this situation with him, I think people are just trying to be very careful. I understand it. The kid has a great future ahead of him. So you have to be careful in these situations. And it is unfortunate because I'm telling you, those fans were going crazy every time he made a shot, made a play. It was unbelievable to see. I'm sitting in the stands now, so I get to feel that from the fans, and they were so excited about him being out there and what he was doing on the floor.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Norm, the shot making is something that we knew about, right? He rose up and he dunked on Kaba Keita tonight. I don't think we've quite seen that level of explosiveness yet. But the play that stood out to me, beyond anything else, not just the defense, not just the steals, he came off a dribble handoff with Bryson Tiller, and he draws 2 defenders with him, and he reads the roller and he reads the tag man, and he just kind of flings like a one-handed cross-court pass to, I believe it was Trey White in the opposite corner, who knocked down a 3. And that was the one where I was like, okay, so he's dunking on you. Okay, so he's got all the shots that he can make, right? Like, he's knocking down 3s, he's making shots off the bounce. We've seen all that, and now he's throwing these passes too. Like, this dude's got, this is more than just a score. Like, there's a player here that we keep seeing flashes of, that at some point we're going to see the total package, or we're going to see him for 40 minutes on back-to-back games. And when that happens, you're going to see what Kansas's ceiling is. I never got off that bandwagon. Jeff Goodman bailed, guys. Goodman bailed on Kansas. Yes. I've been sitting here
because Rob, I bailed because we saw the first half followed by the second half. I don't trust, and I love the kid. I love him as a kid. I love him as a competitor. I love him as all that. But until I see Darren Peterson playing 5, 6, 7 games in a row where he's playing the full game, like, how do I trust him? I mean, you can't trust that this team, even if they go into the tournament and he plays a couple of great games in the Big 12 tournament. You cannot, like, you're telling me if you're a betting man, you're going to put some money on Kansas winning the whole thing? Come on.
Absolutely. One, absolutely,
You're
I would.
a moron.
Two, here's my
You're
counterpoint.
an absolute moron watching the way this season's unfolded then with him.
Okay, so here's my counterpoint. Kansas was up by 22 points in the first half, right? And BYU only cut the lead to 4. Arizona was up by 22 points, and BYU cut the lead to 1. UConn was up by 22 points, and BYU cut the lead to 2. So that means that Kansas, by default, has to be better than both the number 1 team in the country and the number 2 team in the country. So even without Darren Peterson, you're looking at probably the best team in college basketball right here in Kansas. Okay, Kansas, lock it in, Norm. Lock it in. When they cut down the net, I'm going to be partying with you in Indianapolis. All right,
Norm, your mansion in Lawrence, even being the Kansas homer that you are, and the guy who was taking a paycheck from Kansas for a long time, would you bet that house on this Kansas team winning the whole thing right now, watching Darren Peterson being in and out of the lineup like this?
Being truthful, no, I don't think you can. But I do believe in what Rob's saying. If he's out there the majority of the time, they've got a chance, because if he could be out there and play 3/4 of the time and get him up by 15 to 18 points, these other guys know how to finish. Melvin Council, Trey White, Bryson Tiller, obviously today, Floyd Badunga, they know how to finish games because they've had to finish games with. Now it's a different style, it's a different way of playing, but they know how to do it. So it wouldn't be foreign to them. If you're in the NCAA tournament, he plays the first half, can't play the second half. He plays maybe to the 14-minute mark or 13-minute mark. So it wouldn't be foreign to these guys to finish the game out because they've had to do it so many times.
Yeah, and Melvin Council, look, he is a closer. Okay, I made a joke earlier that this is like baseball, right? Where Darren Peterson's your starter. He comes in, he gets the highlights, and then when you need someone to come in and finish the game, you got Mariano Rivera coming in off the bench and Melvin Council. That is a dude that wants the ball in the big moments, embraces the big moments. He had a jumper with, I think it was about a minute left. BYU just cut the lead to 4. I think it was Boop just made 2 free throws, right, to cut the lead to 4, and they dribble out the shot clock, and Melvin Council gets to his right hand and puts up that little leaner / jumper / whatever that is, that shot that he loves, getting to his right and knocks it down like that. That is a dude, Norm, that is built for those big moments like that.
He is. He loves it. But I also think Trey White's built that way. I think Trey White didn't have as good of a game as he would want, but he did make key plays, rebounds. I thought Floyd Badunga making some huge free throws when they were coming back after he had shot the ball poorly from the free throw line. But I think they understand control tempo, get the ball in the right guy's hands, to go make a play. We're going to have to really defend and rebound the basketball. And that's kind of how they finished that game out, because they really didn't turn it over. They just didn't make shots to finish the game off until Melvin made that big one.
I want both of you guys to answer this. Goodman, I'll go to you first. When Bryson Tiller, who had, I mentioned earlier, but he had 21 and 7 tonight. He had 16 points and 7 boards against Kansas State on the road last Saturday. When he gets it going like this, and all of a sudden now you got 2 guys in the front court that are weapons that you have to worry about with him and Flory, how much does it change what this, because we've heard about Bryson for a while, right? And the threat that he can be. Now you got a guy that's a little bit of a floor spacer, that is long, that is athletic, that could be a weapon offensively. Does he change what you think of this group if he's going to be a guy? I'm not saying he's got to average 18.5 points the rest of the season, but like a threat to get you 15?
Well, I think a threat to stretch it too. I think that's the biggest thing he gives you. It's a big that can step out, because that's not Flory's game, number one. And Kansas isn't built as a team that's a great perimeter shooting team. So I think they've got to do it, especially with Peterson out of the lineup. again, if Darren's in the lineup and he's full strength and he's playing every game, yeah, I'll put a team coached, as you said, Rob, coached by Bill Self, arguably the best in the game, with Darren Peterson, arguably the most talented player. Again, Boozer's been the best player, college player this year, but Peterson, I've been saying since a year ago, July, will be my number one pick, and I haven't really wavered yet. Although I talked to a general manager today, and this is probably a discussion we should have, is he goes, listen, the gap is closing. He'd still take Darren Peterson number one, but the gap is closing a little bit. And what he said is what they're going to do is not just looking, what any team's going to do, not just look into the medical, but also really, really dig into all the other stuff with this kid. How competitive is he? Is who's making the decision to shut him down right now at times? And is this something that they think could be an issue, at the next level? Because frankly, it was with like Kawhi Leonard a little bit, right? And his uncle. And they're going to look into everything right now and try to figure it out. And obviously the medical is going to be important too. But he said, listen, for me, Darren Peterson still the number one pick, but the gap is closed a little bit for him to where A.J. DeBonce is in the equation right now. And if this stuff doesn't check out, then who knows?
Yep. I would say this. One thing that, and I said it to some guys when I was at the game today. One factor is Coach Self. He may deserve Coach of the Year in the league. Yeah. Because I'm telling you, to be able to deal with a guy in, out, still develop your roster, get guys to play to their potential like he's done, it's really, really encouraging. I mean, they lost El Marco Jackson today for most of the game too, because he I guess he tweaked his knee or something. So he couldn't play either. So they were down to playing their 8th and 9th guy, which they had cut the rotation to 7. So for them to do that, and then also give their whole staff credit, they decided to have Flory Badunga guard AJ DeBanza. And I think BYU was not ready for that. I think they didn't think that was going to happen and that Flory would be able to do it. And I think Flory proved to a lot of NBA people that guy can guard. He frustrated AJ because he had the size, he had the athleticism, and he had the strength to battle and make it tough on AJ. I thought he did a terrific job. Terrific job.
Yep. You talk about Bill Self there. Goodwin was able to catch up with Bill after the game for a couple of minutes. Let's have Bill Self's going to join us now. Field of 68 here on Sirius XM.
All right, now